Nous allons à présent retrouver le professeur Avi Schroeder pour une présentation en vidéo. Donc Avi Schroeder est professeur agrégé permanent d'ingénierie chimique au Technion. Il dirige le Laboratory for Targeted Drug Delivery and Personalized Medicine Technologies. Et Avi va nous parler de les nanotechnologies dans le traitement du cancer et en faveur de la recherche pour la vaccination, pour les vaccins Covid-19. Avi, c'est à vous.
My dear friends in the Technion France, I'd like to share with you a couple of slides about our research, more specifically about our research in the field of nanotechnology in medicine, and how this area of science actually has bridged between the vaccine for corona and also for treating different diseases such as cancer. And when I was an undergraduate student of chemical engineering, I came across this paper that was published by a physician, a medical doctor called Harrington. And what Harrington was looking at is after nanoparticles are injected to the blood of cancer patients, where these nanoparticles accumulate, where do they target inside the body? And astonishingly, Harrington noticed that the nanoparticles, in this case with a contrast agent inside them, actually target the tumors. They detect the tumors inside the patient's body and accumulate there. On the left-hand side of this image, you can actually see a cancer patient with a tumor at the base of the tongue. And the nanoparticles, after being injected to the arm of the patient, into the blood, into the veins of the patient, these nanoparticles accumulate in the tumor at the base of the tongue. Or in a different patient, the nanoparticles accumulate in a breast cancer patient and in a metastasis, or in lung cancer and in the metastasis in the spine of the patient. This ability to direct the medicine to where it's needed inside the body, to the diseased tissue, the diseased organ, holds huge promise in the advancement of medicine. And I thought to myself, this is the area I want to be in. And I'd like to bring you into that space. And just first say, my name is Avi Schroeder, and I'm a professor of chemical engineering at the Technion Israel Institute of Technology, where we work at this interface of nanotechnology and medicine. So the first nanomedicine that reached the market was invented in the Hebrew University in Israel. This was the first time that nanotechnology was shown to be able to improve the lives of breast and ovarian cancer patients by reducing the toxicity of a medicine, because instead of distributing throughout the body, the medicine in a nanoparticle actually reaches the target site. It reaches the diseased tissue inside the body, the tumor and the metastasis. This was approved about 25 years ago. And since then, the world of nanotechnology has expanded greatly. Actually, this first discovery opened the door to other nanomedicines to reach the clinic. For example, there are nanomedicines that can combine multiple medicines internally and then improve the therapeutic outcome of cancer patients. Or if we think of coronavirus, there are nanomedicines that contain a drug that is inhaled into a patient's lung and improve the outcome of these patients so that their lungs don't collapse during a disease or during infection and inflammation. But the biggest move towards a corona vaccine actually happened just before the corona. The end of 2018, the United States Federal Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, approved the first nanotechnology ever to deliver an RNA molecule. At the time, very few people outside the field of science knew what nanotechnology or what RNA is. Today, I think all of us know what RNA is, and we know what these RNA vaccines are about. But just before coronavirus, the first RNA nanoparticle was approved by the FDA for treating a liver disease, not corona, totally different disease. But this platform was so effective that when the coronavirus outbroke, they took a very similar platform to treat coronavirus. And the reason nanotechnology is so important here is not only does it reach the target site inside the body, but it also is capable of delivering very, very delicate medicines. Onpato, this RNA nanotechnology medicine, actually delivers a small RNA molecule into specific cells in the liver of patients, and that improved their therapeutic outcome. And when coronavirus outbreak came, RNA molecules again were needed. But in order for an RNA molecule to be active, it needs to be loaded into a nanoparticle, because if not, it will be broken down, degraded inside the patient's body. So again, nanotechnology was used in order to carry the messenger RNA molecule, the mRNA, which we're so familiar with now, in order to encode for the vaccine inside patient's body. So nanotechnology again has been used all the way from treating cancer, infections and inflammation, and now for treating the coronavirus. And when we look underneath the microscope at these nanoparticles that are being used for treating coronavirus, we can see they're extremely small. Actually, their size is about 1/1000th the width of a hair on our head. So if you take a hair on our head and you divide its width by 1,000, that's approximately the dimension of each one of these particles that's injected inside the vaccine. Very similarly to those same particles that were used for treating cancer initially. So what does a nanoparticle look like? It's like a tennis ball, only much, much smaller. The size is, again, so small that we can't see it with our eyes. We need special microscopes in order to detect the vaccines. Inside the nanoparticle, we can load different medicines. And when they travel through the blood, they protect the medicine until they reach the target site inside the body where the nanoparticle detects this is a diseased cell. The nanoparticle opens up and releases the medicine inside the diseased cell. So by that, you actually reduce side effects, but also improve the therapeutic efficacy. More than that, you can deliver medicines that in the past we couldn't administer into the body because they may not have been active if they weren't delivered to the right target site. For example of how important these structures are is an experiment we ran several years ago on patients. Here we sought to treat a disease called osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis is a disease of the joints in patients. And what we did is we invented nanoparticles that are injected directly into the knees of patients with problems in their cartilage. The nanoparticles reduce the friction and wear, which is so painful for patients with osteoarthritis, and improve their mobility. In this case, the nanoparticles were injected directly into the joint, and that improved their therapeutic outcome. In fact, in a clinical trial we ran several years ago, we saw that patients that were administered with our technology directly into their joints improved their ability to perform daily activities, get in and out of a chair, go jogging, climb up and down stairs. These are activities that are so hard for a patient with osteoarthritis to do, and now we were able to solve this using nanotechnology. This technology today is already being used in 30 medical centers around the world, and I hope it will expand even further at the end of this year. And I'd like to end with one example of the use of nanotechnology in treating cancer, specifically for treating one of the hardest forms of cancer today, pancreatic cancer, cancer of the pancreas. And we know very well that in pancreatic cancer, not only do the patients suffer from a hard disease to treat, but one of the reasons is that the medicines don't penetrate well into the pancreas. And what we asked ourselves is, could we develop a nanoparticle that could drill a hole into the diseased pancreas. And then after it drills a hole, it will release the medicine internally. And we're actually very effective with this technology. We published 2 leading papers, and we showed that we were able to treat mice in a better manner than any treatment shown to date. Using nanotechnology, we were able to deliver the medicine directly into the diseased pancreas by expanding the ability of medicine to actually penetrate better. So when we look at nanotechnology, its promise for medicine is huge. Friends of the Technion, I want to thank you for supporting this research. It's a great honor for us. And to say my thanks, not only in my name, but in the name of all the researchers that I lead in my group, and which day to day come into the lab and actually do their science with huge love. Thank you so much, and have a great continuation of this day.
Hi, Avi.
Oh,
nice to see you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, very nice. Thank you for this brilliant presentation. It's good to see you. So we have 2 questions from the audience, from the public today. You spoke about nanotechnology. Is nanotechnology used as well for treating Alzheimer and Parkinson's diseases?
Yeah, so thank you so much, one, for this opportunity to present today. And I hope next year we can already present in person and come and travel. So absolutely, nanotechnology is being used. First, it was used for cancer, then for infection and inflammation. We used also nanotechnology for treating osteoarthritis. And the next frontier is the brain. That's where nanotechnology is going. There are more than 80 nanomedicines that are already being used. And the next goal is really to help treat diseases that are affecting mainly people that are aging, and that's Alzheimer and Parkinson's disease. So we absolutely are looking towards those diseases as an important role for nanotechnology. Thank you for the question.
Okay, we have a second one. What is your thought about using nanotechnology in food?
Yeah, so thank you for that too. So nanotechnology is a general term. And within nanotechnology, if you use safe materials, such as food-based materials, in order to prepare your nanoparticles, then the threat or the danger does not exist. And of course, it should be studied. But I think that there are areas where there are diseases in food, for example, that we can treat only using these new technologies. So I think while we always need to be very careful, the safety profile is probably very good also for that. And at Technion, for example, we're studying exactly, is it safe or is it not safe? But we are seeing great improvement in crops in combating different diseases in crops. One example is a study we're doing today together with the Hebrew University, actually working on grapevines, where we're treating grapevines that have viral diseases that stop the production of wine, which is of course very important. And we use nanotechnology to stop that grapevine disease so that the grapes or the vine can continue growing healthy grapes that then can be used to make wine. So I hope that makes our friends all around the world, and especially in France, where people love good wine, happy.
We have one last question, Avi. How long, you mentioned the treatment for the knee in your presentation. How long last the effects of the injection in the knee? Could you answer that?
Yeah, thank you. That's a very important question. From what we saw in patients is that even 3 months after the injection, patients were able to perform daily activities, climb up and down stairs. They had almost no knee pain. In fact, they didn't need any pain medication. The injection to the knee was enough for 3 months and even longer to continue going, running, walking, doing things that patients with osteoarthritis really want to do, but because of pain today they can't do. This technology actually allows them to regain function.
Thank you very much, Avi. See you soon.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Shalom from Israel.
Thank you. Bye, Avi.